What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is and I have this video here, people. And submission is your safety as a wife. And this woman is going to explain to this young lady right here that you clearly see on the screen about having basically a husband in her life and how that will, affect her in positive ways and things like that. Definitely with having a child. So we're going to go here now and we're going to check this out. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Made Adam a suitable helpmate. And he made that helpmate not because she's weaker, but because God has given men a capacity and a responsibility that women do not have. And we have to be honest about it. We can say he's not a man, he doesn't know how to lead, he doesn't whatever. There's still a capacity inside of him that God did not give us as women. And one of the biggest examples that I can give of that, imagine it's raining and you're in New York City. And if you've ever been to New York City or in France and it starts raining and people start selling umbrellas on the street, those $5, $10 umbrellas, they're not worth much, but they get the job done until you get home. Imagine you have that man. You have the man that gets the job done, isn't anything special, but he gets the job done. That man, no matter how little you view him, is made to handle the rain. You were not made to handle the rain, but you were made to hold up that which can handle the rain. If you didn't have that umbrella, you would come back home smelling like what you were poured on.
Wow. Listen, look, and see, I know a lot of women that wouldn't agree with this shit here now, and some men too as well. But this is the facts, though. Yes, the way that she's explaining this so far is the truth. The old school saying the woman's the neck and the man's the head. Yes, the neck does support the head, but the head also carries the brain. And in this analogy that she's explaining, the way she's explaining is awesome to me. Yes, she would go home drenched in rain, totally drowned out, totally, destroyed upon. Let's keep going a little bit. Let's keep going here. You guys got to hear this. Let's do this.
What poured on you? When a man comes back in as that umbrella, he gets dried quickly, water repellent, it falls off of him. And no matter how equipped you thought he still was built for the rain.
Right. And that's the situation that we're talking about right here. The stress and things like that, stress, purpose, things like that men are supposed to have, that men do have in this simple way. The stress, we deal with stress differently than women do. And these are just the facts. We can handle a tremendous amount of stress where women cannot handle a tremendous amount of stress. I'm not saying that women can't handle, stress, period. We're all human beings. There's no way around it. A woman's going to have to deal with some type of stress. But all I'm saying is, though, men are built for a huge amount of stress where women are not. And she's speaking facts with this situation right here.
The difference also, some of you want that Neiman Marcus umbrella. Some of you want the wood handle. Those things are heavy. And if God gave you a man like that, then you have to be the woman that can hold up that man. Because an umbrella that is not used, it can be for the rain, for the sun. It shields, it provides shade. It allows what's under it not to be touched. We are the vessel, not weaker. We are the vessel that was meant to let the one that God gave us be held up and used for what he was made. So now as a wife, I want to say, I don't want to get wet. I don't want to sunburn. My skin's not built for that. So instead, I'm going to let the man be who he was meant to be. And if God gave me, which he did, my man's about as heavy as this table. That means God made me capable of holding him up.
Yo, I got to give the claps on that. Listen, look, man. I don't know who this woman is, but she's spitting facts. And this is the type of family I grew up with. Mother, father, grandparents, things like that. And this is the dynamic. Yeah, a woman is supposed to hold her man up, and he's supposed to give her the covering which, you know, I know everybody's heard this before. The covering, that's what that means. That's what she's talking about. The man covers you within the family dynamic. You know what I'm saying? The umbrella, the shade, you know, when you're sitting on the beach with your toes out in your little bikini, you got a big umbrella for the shade from the sun so you won't get sunburn out there. You know, yeah, she did the analogy about the rain. Yes, you come back home, you'll be soaking wet, smelling like rain. Nobody really wants to smell like rain. Just keeping it real, especially not a lady. Okay. Ladies don't want to be touched by certain things. I get that. And that's supposed to, you're not supposed to want to be. But if you don't have that covering, you're going to, like she said, you're going to get sunburned. If you don't have that covering, you're not going to be able to, you know, maneuver properly, because you're not going to have the shade that you need to stay out the sun. You know, and man, wow, this lady is spitting facts. I hope you guys are listening. Get down in the comments and let me know what you think.
If my man is not doing what he was made to do, it's because I, as his wife, am not holding him up. One thing I will credit myself to is that that man can come and do what God has him to do, because on the back end, he is being held up and held down. Not about me, but to say this about submission. If you think submission is because the man is doing what you believe is right for a man to do, then you've missed your assignment before God. God will bless your obedience as being a wife. The Bible's full of it. Ephesians and Corinthians in the Old Testament. Just start looking for them. And please read Love and Respect. It will change your life. Submission does not make you a weaker vessel. It just makes you the part of the machine that is needed to function, but entrusting somebody else's responsibility that's what they were made for, to do what God has made them to do. So I value submission. Submit one to another is not in the same way. He is not going to submit to me the way I'm going to submit to him. That's not even biblical. As he submits to Christ, so I submit to him who has submitted to Christ. If God has made the man the head of the house to love his wife as he is to love the church, God is going to hold him to a standard. God is also going to hold you to a standard. And it's not going to be dependent on, did you value him, or did you do right by him because he did right by you, or you did right by him because you did right by what God commanded you to do.
Yes. And see, this is it right here. And, you know, and I'm sorry, but this is the truth here. And I'm going to say it this way. Most women that are not, you know, believers in God and stuff like that, of course, they're not going to care about this. Even some women in the church nowadays will look at her and be like, you know, with the side eye, like, you know, yeah, what's wrong with you, girl? You picking me? And, you know, all these types of names that women want to throw out. But it's just the truth, though. She says she's holding her husband up and he's doing right by her, and he's supposed to be where he's at. You know, there is an order to the situation. Yes, your husband is supposed to submit to God. You submit to him, and y'all totally together submitting to God, and y'all bring the children along with the plan. That's how it's supposed to go. And with that order, the family dynamic tends to work out a lot better in society than it will just, you know, total chaos and things like that. Or, you know, everybody's running around here doing whatever they want to do. And, you know, the families are disarray, and, you know, people talk outside of their neck. No, it's just that this is a man. She's hitting the nail on the head with this scenario right here. And it's not a scenario. It's just the truth. But a lot of people are going to not like what this lady's saying, because, you know, everybody want to sit around here and think that they could do anything they want to do, but they want outcomes like what she's talking about. They want the outcomes of her life and her situation with the family dynamic and stuff, but you want to do anything you want to do without order and structure. And it's not going to work that way. It takes order and structure to build a building, to make a car, to, you know what I'm saying, grow food. It takes order and structure for everything. You can't be chaotic and, you know, make things prosperous.
You will see a dynamic transformation inside of your home when you begin to obey his word. Submission is our safety as wives. Submission is your safety as a wife. Whether you have, because I want to believe if you married him, he has good intentions. Even if he doesn't have, or if you're with him, or if you love him, it's because you believe that's a good person, even if they don't have it together yet. Keep trusting God, but allow your heart to not be tainted if he's doing right by you. God will make him do right by you. God knows how to reach the man that he gave you. So
hey, that's the truth. That's yo.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Yeah, I got to clap for it. Listen, let me tell y'all something too. Damn, I didn't watch this for. I didn't know she can say that. That's the truth. That is the truth. That's the God's honest truth, man. God will God will put something on that dude that you can't do and make him get in line for you. All you have to do is pray for him. I'm telling you, women, prayer works, man. Prayer works if you truly believe. And I'm talking to the believers out there right now. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, then you don't. You're not religious. That's fine. That's cool. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Not tripping. You know, everybody has the right to live their life the way that they want to live it. And that's it. That's it. So, you know, but yeah, though, for the ones that do, you know, this is totally, you pray for your husband. I'm telling you, God will keep that man in line for real though.
So that you don't suffer and cry, so your child doesn't suffer and cry, and so you don't live in a house that is just like what you've always seen. You will be the chain breaker of marriages and relationships and love in this life if you just do it God's way.
Amen.
Amen.
Yo, shout out to that. You know, listen, look, man, and these are just facts. She was on point with that. You know, hopefully you guys, you know, got a good understanding about this situation. And like I say, this is for the people that, you know, do believe in God and stuff like that. And, you know, like I say, if you don't, then you don't, you know, just no pressure. But to have that system, order, and structure, you know what I'm saying? Man submitting to God, woman submit to man, children submit to mother, and everything falls down like that. Yes, it truly will work. It, you know, in its proper perspective. And these are just facts, you know, not to say that you're not going to have ups and downs and bumps in the road. No, life is never going to be perfect in sunshine and roses. That's not even how God designed it to be. You're going to have to go through struggles and stuff like that, even within a marriage, relationship, whatever, because it helps you build character within the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Even with friendships, you know, it helps you build character when y'all go through things as friends and stuff like that. You know, you grow you grow closer as human beings, period. When, you know, human beings go through things together and they triumph over a situation and things like that. But yeah, though, hope y'all enjoy it. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.